Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I want to start by welcoming you all to the 8th Annual Nevada Youth Homelessness Summit. Perfect, thank you. Co-presented by us, NPHY, and Las Vegas Sands. Today, we're not only here as advocates and community members, but as active participants in a movement that believes in the power to ignite change and address youth homelessness at its roots. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can create lasting, transformational change for young people experiencing homelessness in Nevada. Before we go any further, I want to express my deepest gratitude to Las Vegas Sands. They've been with us since the beginning, not just as a sponsor, but as a true partner to the movement. Kristen, who represents Las Vegas Sands, has shown unwavering commitment to this cause, helping us turn this summit from an idea into an impactful gathering that it is today. Kristen, Lisa, Ron, Randy, Jack, and so many others, your dedication and belief in this work have been invaluable. Thank you for standing with us and helping us bring this summit to life. This vibrates, very cool. I'd like to take a moment now to bring this issue a little closer to home. I invite you to imagine just being 16 years old and suddenly, for a reason beyond your control, finding yourself without a place to call home. Child Protective Services has come to speak to you several times due to your unimaginable circumstances at home, but nothing has ever changed. You feel scared, uncertain, and completely alone. You want to reach out to a friend, but you're too embarrassed, and fear that they won't understand holds you back. You feel invisible. On that first night, you go to the only place that you know, a nearby park where you often hang out with friends. But as the night falls, that park, once a place of comfort, turns cold and frightening. The next morning, you go to school trying to act like nothing happened, but the weight of your situation is overwhelming. You're exhausted, and you can't focus on anything except the fear of where you'll sleep tonight. Finally, in desperation, you confide in a friend, and their family lets you stay there for a night or two. It's a temporary reprieve, but eventually, their family can no longer host you, and once again, you're on your own, sleeping in the park. You're back on the streets, feeling that crushing isolation again. You search online for help. What do I do if I don't have a place to sleep? You find a local organization and scrape together bus fare to get there. When you finally arrive, you're told that while there are services available, there isn't a bed for you tonight. The emergency shelter is full, but they can ask you some questions and maybe place you on a waiting list. You ask if you can get some food in the meantime, and they ask you questions about why you're here, and there's talk of CPS being called, and you're scared of being sent back to abuse and neglect. As you sit there, facing overwhelming feeling of being underserved and overlooked, you leave to face another night on the streets alone. This young person's story, unfortunately, is far too common. I see several of the young people in the crowd nodding. No young person should have to go through this just because our under-resourced systems intended to support them often fall short. Young people's unique needs and circumstances are often not understood by the systems designed to serve them, leaving them without the resources and support that they so desperately need. Now, I want you to imagine if that story has played out a little differently. Imagine if, instead, all young people know where to turn in situations like this. Imagine if enough people were equipped with the information of where to go when immediate help was needed, and this information was shared so widely and compassionately that young people knew where to reach out and felt safe doing so. And when they did reach out, they had many places to go to with abundance of resources available. Imagine if, instead, this young person arrived at an organization and was greeted with a warm smile, and without hesitation, they were offered food and a place to sleep that very night, and compassionate care. Imagine if, as they navigated our systems, the systems and providers worked together seamlessly to address their varied needs, hand in hand with the young person who was offered options, transparency, and a plethora of resources tailored to their circumstances, ensuring that all young people's needs were promptly met and met with dignity. This is our bold vision. This is not a distant dream. It's a vision that we can and will achieve together by working collaboratively, by investing in the right resources, and by supporting each other every step of the way. When we come together, we're not just another provider, another agency, or another funding source. We are part of a movement. We are part of a collaborative, united force that is actively working to build a coordinated system where young people in need find immediate, compassionate, and comprehensive support. This is the heart of the movement, and this is what we're all here today to make possible. Sadly, the story I just shared is not an isolated one. It represents the experiences of millions of young people facing homelessness across the United States. Take a look at this map in front of you. No, it is not the electoral map. But imagine every child living in these 28 states highlighted gold across our country, including Nevada. Imagine that number. These numbers could be your children, your nieces and nephews, your siblings, or your grandchildren, and all their friends. That's more than 1 million children. Now think about this. There are more children experiencing homelessness in our country than there are total children living in these 28 gold states. That's over 1.2 million children experiencing homelessness. Let that sink in for a moment. These aren't just numbers. Each of these young lives is facing the instability, fear, and uncertainty of not having a place to call home. Let me say this again. Across the United States, the number of children living in the state of homelessness during the 2021-22 school year was greater than the total number of children living in these 28 gold states you see on the map. That's unbelievable. Nearly 1.2 million students in K-12 schools were either literally homeless, living in shelters, cars, or tents, or in doubled-up housing arrangements where families share housing beyond its capacity out of necessity. And these numbers are just the beginning. We know this count doesn't capture every child. Many youth fall through the cracks of the counting system and go unidentified. And it doesn't account for transition-age youth up to the age of 24 who are not attending K-12 schools. In fact, Chapin Hall estimates that the total number of youth experiencing homelessness nationwide could be closer to 4.2 million. And here in Nevada, the crisis is just as severe. Unfortunately, Nevada is one of the hardest hit states in the nation when it comes to young people experiencing homelessness. From 2022 to 23, the number of youth identified as homeless on an average night increased 14% in our state. During the 21-22 school year alone, over 14,000 students in Nevada identified as experiencing homelessness. So, to create effective solutions to youth homelessness, we first must understand why young people end up without a stable home. Youth homelessness is often caused by family conflict, economic hardship, aging out of the child welfare system, or involvement in the juvenile justice system. Many families struggle to afford stable housing, and unexpected crises can quickly lead to homelessness. For LGBTQ+ youth, rejection by family can be a major factor. In BIPOC youth, that's Black, Indigenous, and other people, or in this case, youth of color, are experiencing homelessness at much higher rates. These are just some of the situations that push young people into homelessness and force them to face overwhelming challenges all on their own. Youth homelessness isn't simply homelessness at a younger age. Young people lack the life skills, financial resources, and support networks that adults might have, making them more vulnerable to exploitation and harm. Unlike adults, they often hide their homelessness by couch surfing or staying in unsafe places, making them harder to reach and support. This invisibility and this isolation can leave them feeling disconnected, with fewer options for getting the help they need. Youth homelessness robs young people of stability at a crucial stage in their development. Youth homelessness disrupts every part of a young person's life, from education to mental health. Without stability, staying in school and planning for the future becomes nearly impossible. The long-term impact of this instability can follow them into adulthood, affecting their ability to break free from poverty. Addressing youth homelessness isn't just about immediate shelter. It's an investment in their futures and a chance to prevent lifelong hardship. Solving youth homelessness requires all of us, community members, providers, educators, policymakers, and advocates, to work together. This is an issue that affects entire communities, and solving it benefits everyone by building stronger, more resilient society. These young people are our future, and together we can help them find the stability, opportunity, and hope they deserve. So today, I'm not just standing here as the CEO of MPHY, but as someone who has guided the vision for the movement from its earliest days. Over 8 years ago, when we first proposed creating a coordinated regional and later statewide effort to address youth homelessness, many people told us it couldn't be done, that service providers can't be thought leaders, and there was too big of an undertaking to bring so many siloed systems and stakeholders together. Internally and externally, we faced doubts, challenges, and ever-present voices saying, this is impossible. But here we are, 8 years later, having accomplished what many thought unachievable. We have achieved so much, yet there's still so much to do. And today, I ask you each to carry the same boldness, the same willingness to push the envelope, that same dedication not just to be reactive to this crisis, but also to be proactive. The work we're doing is hard, but we're making progress step by step. We could have not reached this point without the support, passion, and relentless commitment of each of you here today and so many that have gathered in the past. Together, we have become the movement, and together, we can build a future where no young person is left without a place to call home. So let's review what our communities have accomplished so far through the movement, and I'm going to stop talking.
Youth homelessness is a crisis both nationwide and here in Nevada, but it doesn't have to be this way. That's why the movement to end youth homelessness in Nevada is uniting communities across our state to confront this challenge head-on. In 2017, we launched the Movement to End Youth Homelessness in Southern Nevada to tackle youth homelessness from all angles. Yet, we know that youth homelessness touches every corner of our state: southern, northern, rural, and tribal. And so, in 2023, we took the movement statewide to create real, lasting change for all Nevadans. Now, the movement is leading statewide efforts around awareness and advocacy, legislative action, cross-sector collaboration, systems transformation, and youth empowerment to build bigger and more impactful solutions to uplift our state's most vulnerable young people. Since we launched the movement, we've made remarkable strides, rallying thousands of passionate advocates to support youth experiencing homelessness. Together, we have launched and hosted our state's premier event dedicated to ending youth homelessness, the annual Nevada Youth Homelessness Summit, which brings together hundreds of cross-sector stakeholders each year for learning and action. Led community-wide processes together with youth and lived expertise, national experts, and dozens of community stakeholder groups to create the first ever Southern Nevada plan to end youth homelessness and community needs assessment. Conceived of, advocated for, and successfully championed state legislation to break down barriers for youth to obtain vital documents and access critical healthcare services. Drove efforts that have increased innovative housing models, outreach, and education support, and strengthened cross-system collaboration. Uplifted and showcased youth voice, leadership, and creative expression, and so much more. But this is only the beginning. Since going statewide, the movement is taking bold steps for change across our state, including collaborating with the Nevada Division of Welfare and Supportive Services on the first ever statewide study on youth experiencing homelessness, working with global legal experts to create a homeless youth handbook for Nevada, a state-specific guide for youth about their rights, redesigning service delivery systems so they work better for young people, creating a statewide coalition and obtaining new federal funding to strengthen youth action boards across Nevada, and build the first ever statewide youth leadership body to guide the movement. Securing resources and partnerships needed to create the first ever statewide Nevada plan to end youth homelessness. And advocating to make public higher education more accessible to all youth in Nevada who've experienced homelessness. We're working hard on these ambitious statewide initiatives, but we need your help. The solution to youth homelessness does not lie with any one agency, system, or sector, but with all of us. Transformative change is possible together. Join our growing movement to create a Nevada where all young people are housed, supported, and empowered to build the future they want for themselves. Together, we can and will end youth homelessness. Visit our website to be the movement today.
Wow. So looking back on this journey, I'm deeply inspired by what we've accomplished together. Each step forward, every new initiative, every bit of progress is because of the passion, resources, and dedication of every single person in this room. So again, please give yourself a round of applause because this movement would not be possible without each and every one of you. In 2024 alone, we've seen monumental strides in our fight against youth homelessness throughout Nevada. I want to take a moment to recognize some of our incredible partners. St. Jude's Ranch for Children, I saw Christina earlier, recently opened the Healing Center, the nation's first purpose-built residential campus for children who have experienced sex trafficking. This center is a beacon of hope for some of Nevada's most vulnerable youth. Thank you, Christina. I see you. Eddie House in Northern Nevada and Clark County Social Service have taken significant steps toward bringing more shelter and housing beds dedicated specifically to young people experiencing homelessness. The Southern Nevada Youth Action Board and Nevada Partners have expanded Southern Nevada's Youth Action Board, engaging young people in vital leadership roles to advocate for themselves and others, and some of them are here today with us. Clark County School District has used COVID relief funds to creatively bring providers and services directly into schools, supporting students experiencing homelessness. Stepping Stone's Emergency Youth Shelter, located in Fallon, Nevada, on Fallon Paiute Shoshone Reservation, is fighting tirelessly to keep Nevada's only shelter dedicated to tribal youth open, ensuring access is safe and culturally appropriate. And while we don't have time to mention every accomplishment or partner by name, please know that each of you is an essential part of the movement. Your dedication, hard work, and commitment are deeply valued, and together we are achieving incredible progress. Every effort, every act of service, and every contribution you make brings us closer to our shared vision, and we're profoundly grateful for what you all do. So in addition to these achievements, we've made substantial progress in understanding and improving the landscape of youth homelessness throughout our state. The Nevada Division of Welfare and Supportive Services, SEI, the movement, and many other dedicated partners throughout the state have completed the first year of work on Nevada's first ever statewide study on youth homelessness. Later today, at a breakout, we'll delve into the findings and implications of the study. We've made substantial strides in revamping our coordinated entry system for youth in Southern Nevada, which is a HUD-mandated process designed to connect young people experiencing homelessness with the right resources as quickly, fairly, and efficiently as possible. And our goal with the revamp is to make the system more accessible, streamlined, and equitable. This process is being led by young people with lived experience who will share their progress in just a very little bit. Also, there's a lot to talk about because 2024 is a big year. This year, our communities came together and achieved something truly phenomenal. We secured over $9 million in brand new funding devoted exclusively to combating this issue. And this milestone represents more than financial support. It signifies a collective commitment to ensuring that no young person in Nevada faces the trauma and uncertainty of homelessness.
Yes.
Next month, we'll be launching the Youth Homelessness Systems Improvement Initiative, a transformative 30-month project funded by $800,000 federal HUD grant and awarded to MPHY working on behalf of the state. This initiative marks a major milestone for Nevada, as it will build the state's first ever comprehensive statewide response to youth homelessness, driven by the voices and leadership of young people with lived experience. YESI, as we call it, will establish and strengthen youth action boards across Nevada, including the first ever statewide Movement Youth Action Board, and culminate in the development of the Nevada Plan to End Youth Homelessness, a statewide coordinated effort to bring real and lasting change to these vulnerable youth. To develop this project, MPHY collaborated with cross-sector partners throughout the state, including the state's Southern Nevada and Rural Continuum of Cares, UNLV and UNR, service providers, jurisdictions, and partners serving in uplifted targeted youth populations, including LGBTQ+ youth and indigenous youth. Additionally, Clark County Social Service is matching the federal government's investment into this systems change initiative with an $80,000 match commitment. This is a groundbreaking achievement for Nevada, amplifying youth voice and bringing new federal resources to our state, and we couldn't be more excited to launch this exciting project. Additionally, just last week, the Acting Secretary of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, the Honorable Adrian Todman, visited MPHY's campus to announce a significant federal funding award that was awarded to the Southern Nevada Homelessness Continuum of Care through an $8.5 million youth homelessness demonstration program grant.
Yeah.
This funding is dedicated exclusively to programs and services for young people experiencing homelessness, allowing us to bolster our existing infrastructure and develop new essential resources that are tailored to their needs. This $8.5 million stream is the biggest singular investment I've seen in Clark County's youth homelessness system since I started working at MPHY almost 14 years ago. This funding was hard won by our community. It took 6 or 7 years of trying and applying for this funding for a community to successfully obtain this incredible investment. Momentum is undoubtedly building in our community and throughout our state to target more attention and devote desperately needed resources to our most vulnerable population of young people, those experiencing homelessness. I'm so excited that this is the momentum that the movement has been building since 2017 and is bringing so many new opportunities to our communities. This deserves to be celebrated and applauded. But at the same time, I want us to remember that a truly momentous investment like this also requires us to be responsible stewards. That having an opportunity to transform our systems with resources such as this do not come around every day. And that today, in this moment, and over the next couple years, we must be thoughtful, we must be strategic, and we must lead with youth voice. And we must work together to ensure that these new significant funds in our community are used in a way that will build and create sustainable systems that provide safe, accessible, equitable, and empowering pathways out of homelessness permanently. It is our collective responsibility to make the most of these resources guided by the voices of the youth that we serve. Together, these investments embody the movement's vision of combating systems level change with direct program support and systems level change, which are both essential. By investing in transforming structures that impact young people while addressing their urgent needs, we are making a historic commitment today to building a better future for Nevada's youth. How are we doing on time? Oh, all right, okay, all right. I know, I'm almost done. So, today's summit would not be possible without the tireless efforts of certain individuals. I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to Melissa Jacobowitz, who's hiding somewhere in the AV room and doing a lot of work back there, and Lynette Rivera. Melissa and Lynette, your dedication and leadership have not only brought this summit together, but you carry this movement forward every single day of the year. Yeah, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you also to Gilletta for executing many of the logistics to make today possible. Hey, Gilletta. And to Lexi, Allison, Madeline, and Layla, and so many others for contributing to the events, to our event's successful preparation. Thank you also to MPHY staff who are working today's event. I said that. So this summit wouldn't be possible without all of you. Thank you. But I also want to recognize that for the first time ever, we have the majority of MPHY staff here with us today. Wave. Hey. To each and every one of you, I want to say thank you. Your tireless work on the front lines provides critical support to hundreds of young people every year. You are there around the clock, providing the safety net that so many youth depend on. Thank you for all that you do, and thank you to the other service providers who do the same for young people. So looking forward, we have ambitious goals for 2025 and beyond, and I couldn't be more excited about what's on the horizon. By June 25, Nevada's groundbreaking statewide study on youth homelessness will be completed. This study will provide the data and insights needed to create the first ever statewide, standalone Nevada plan to end youth homelessness, which we'll begin working on next year. Next month, we'll launch the already mentioned YESI initiative, a transformative 30-month project to build statewide infrastructure for young people. This initiative will include growing the leadership capacity of young people experiencing homelessness throughout Nevada and uplifting their voices, and the creation of the first ever standalone plan. We're also thrilled to embark on a YHCP project in Clark County. This will involve developing a YHDP plan and establishing a YHDP continuum of care, ensuring that funds are allocated to projects that will make the most impact on the lives of young people. And in 2025, we're continuing our commitment to ensure access to higher education by pursuing funded legislation to waive tuition and fees for youth who've experienced homelessness in Nevada's public colleges and universities. We're doubling down on this pursuit because we know that this will lead to generational transformative change that will break down barriers to end cycles of poverty and homelessness. This initiative is about giving every young person, regardless of their circumstance, the chance to achieve their educational goals and build a brighter future, ensuring that young people experiencing homelessness join the ranks of other vulnerable populations, such as foster youth and Native American youth, who currently have access to these waivers. Additionally, we'll roll out a youth coordinated entry revamp in Southern Nevada. The movement will also be working on setting new standards of excellence for service delivery in Clark County to ensure that youth experiencing homelessness receive the highest quality of care and support. This effort is a direct response to youth feedback received during the coordinated entry revamp process, and we are committed to building a service model that other regions can look at as a benchmark for youth-centered, compassionate, and effective care. And in 2025, we'll also host our first Movement Institute in Northern Nevada at the University of Nevada, Reno. This event will bring together advocates, providers, and young leaders to share more about the movement, foster collaboration, and energize our movement across the state. And to make all of this possible, I am thrilled to announce the launch of NPHY's new, tentatively named Research Policy and Advocacy Department, which will occur in 2025. This department represents a new era for NPHY as we continue to grow our role as a leader in the fight to end youth homelessness. We are primed to make so much more systems level change, but currently, our systems level advocacy is housed inside of our Community Development and Engagement Department, and this work is accomplished in a small amount of time by leaders with competing organizational priorities. We are so proud of what we've been able to accomplish so far with very limited resources and time, but we know that there's so much more needed that we can only achieve with dedicated resources for this work. So accordingly, in 2025, we will create a dedicated research policy and advocacy department at NPHY with assets, staffing, and capacity focused exclusively on the systems level work, community coordination, youth leadership, and advocacy. The RPA department will ensure that our work is grounded in data, armed with powerful advocacy strategies, and positioned to drive systems level change at every level. It will put the movement on steroids. With dedicated staff focused on the movement full time, we're ready to take our mission to the next level, advancing research, championing youth voice, and pushing for policy change like we've never done before. Together, we're building a future every young person in Nevada deserves, where they have the support, resources, and opportunities they need. We are so excited. So, before I get off the stage, I just need to say thank you to a couple people. I'll go through it quickly. I want to thank our co-presenting sponsor, Las Vegas Sands, and our supporting sponsors like the Las Vegas Review-Journal and the UNLV Greenspun College of Urban Affairs, and every other sponsor of this year's summit that Kristen acknowledged earlier, and to every organization and individual who has joined us in this journey. Your commitment is the foundation of this movement. I'd like to extend my deepest gratitude to Mayor Pro Tem and City Councilman Brian Knudsen, not only for opening up City Hall to host the summit for us today, but for all the behind-scenes work that him and his team, Christy and Jeff and Alex and so many others, put in to make this possible. But also Councilman Knudsen, for being a steadfast champion for youth causes for well over a decade. Thank you for everything that you do for youth in our communities. A special thank you to Shepherd Exposition Services, and especially Claudia Guevara and Steve Margos for their invaluable longtime support. All these beautiful signs that you see around, donating printing services, the labor, and also the materials and tables and things that you see around you today, and you will see around you today, from helping us to set up and break down behind the scene for countless events, including our gala and holiday drives. Your generosity and dedication make it all possible, and we're truly grateful. We couldn't do it without you. I'd also like to thank the elected officials and the representatives who are in the audience today. Thank you for taking the time to join us today and for recognizing the importance of this issue and the important work we're doing together. I'd also like to thank our presenters today, from inspiring young leaders to keynote speakers, panelists, and breakout facilitators. Your insights, expertise, and dedication enrich this summit and are invaluable to our work. Let's give a special thank you to our statewide planning committee. Thank you for your incredible commitment and collaboration in making this summit possible. And I don't want to wrap up without acknowledging the young people with lived experience who are attending today. You are the reason the movement exists and our driving force to be bold and to ignite change. And thank you to all of you for coming here today. As we move forward, I want each of you to find your place in the movement. Each of you is a vital part of what we're building. So let's take what we learned here today, let's connect with one another, and let's continue to push boundaries and ignite change. Together, we can end youth homelessness in Nevada. Thank you.